Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our latest episode, and I'm excited to introduce you to Melanie Herschorn. Her company is Big Impact Books, and she's a best-selling author coach. So welcome to the show, Melanie. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. So let's start a little bit about your journey. Did you set off to become a best-selling author coach when you were younger?
No, I definitely did not. I was the kid who couldn't even get the hang of reading. I still remember what that was like. I had trouble with reading. And then once I figured it out, I was like, I don't like reading. Books are boring. I don't agree with that now, but
Yeah, it was a struggle for my kids too. But then I distinctly remember my son, when he first got it, we were going to like a soccer game or something, and he was like, "Oh my God, I got it!" And he had like a chapter book, and he just sat there reading. It was
wow.
joyful.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids didn't have trouble either. And I'm like, well, your mom's a slow reader, but guess what? I'm also a published author. I'm a best-selling author. I just launched my second book. Like, you don't have to be A plus reader to be able to write a book.
Great. What a great story. So do tell me how you kind of, what was your journey to getting where you are, to running your own business, to becoming a best-selling author coach?
I never would have become an entrepreneur if I hadn't been laid off from my job as a journalist. I was 5 months pregnant and I got laid off. And it was legal because it was a round of layoffs due to budget cuts, et cetera, et cetera. Then I ended up having this idea to design and manufacture breastfeeding clothing. And I jumped head first, feet first, butt first into entrepreneurship. And so I did that for 7 years. I sold my clothes on Nordstrom.com, on Amazon, in boutiques. And then I made a bad hire in my 7th year. And she belittled me every day. And it was just really toxic. And so at the end of that year, I went, all right, I'm done. What now?
Wow.
And
You picked a really hard industry too, because there's so much, it's not like selling a product online or anything. You're talking about, manufacturing and sourcing the materials and, getting everything done. So yeah, you went all in the hard way.
I love that you just said that. I don't know that anyone has ever like mirrored back to me the way it's true. Why the heck I did that? I think it was a combination of I really believe in this and and I know that if I don't do it, I will regret it.
Yeah, that's
And
great for you. I hate that you got fired when you were 5 months pregnant. That breaks my heart.
you know, well,
Because
technically it
that's
wasn't
cool.
fired. It was laid off because
Mhm.
they wouldn't let me live on the air after that, but they still wanted me to work for the next 2 months, and I still did a lot of recorded stories for them.
Wow. Wow. So you went into breastfeeding. What did you call it? It was
Clothing. Yeah,
clothing.
nursing.
There you go.
Yep.
Which for those of us who did, that's great. And we appreciate you for that. So tell me, you had someone belittling you. That's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. But
Thank
what did that push you into? Obviously, push you out of that business.
Mhm.
But how
Yeah,
did that move you forward?
it's funny because sometimes the universe likes to push us in ways, and if we're not going to leave, it has to like get really mean about it. So what happened was, I shut the business and then I went, okay, what now? I really like this entrepreneur thing. Like I really did. And what was one of the things that I really loved was the marketing piece of things. So I started helping people bits and pieces with marketing. Then I went into coaching marketing, like marketing consulting, and authors started calling out of the blue and they said, "Hey, you're the only person I know who does marketing. Can you help me market my book?" And I said, "Sure. I can do that." And so I started developing marketing programs for books. And then I started finding that the books were kind of all the same. And the quality was lacking, for lack of a better word. and a lot of them have the same title. And so what I gleaned was that there's a better way and I can help. And it was around that time that a family member of mine was going through a really nasty divorce. And everything that I thought would happen was the opposite. The opposite happened because I watch too much television, and what we see on TV is not what really happens in divorce court. So I went, wow, maybe I can even help attorneys write books because there's such a knowledge gap. So I kind of went into that niche as well. And I love to help professionals too. So the way that I get to help people in the world is get their stories out of their head and into a published book.
They're obviously nonfiction books.
Yes, ma'am, they are.
So they're obviously for, I'm thinking they're for the lawyers to showcase their expertise and their knowledge about the subject.
Yes, exactly. And I work with forensic accountants and mortgage brokers, anybody who has really smart stuff happening up here and they can show it in a book in their unique way, their spin and how they do things.
I love that. Yeah, I have a friend who actually is a lawyer, and she wrote a book, and it was all about injured workers. And so they actually give that book away. That's just a
Yes.
need for them. And, they get loads of business just for people who call or request it. And yeah, it's a real good lead magnet.
It's the best. I love that you just gave that story.
So tell us a little bit about, how do you work with them? Like, how do you start? Do they already have an idea of what they want to do? Do you help them develop it? I mean, how in the weeds do you get with them?
Ooh, I live in the weeds. So it really depends where they're at. I like to meet people where they're at. So sometimes they go, I know I need a book, but I don't know what to write about. So then I help them figure out what to write about. And some people say, I have a manuscript, but I don't know what to do with it. And is it even good? So I can help no matter what the starting point is. But if and when they are, come in with an idea and that's all they have, then what I do is I have them speak the book out to me in an hour a week. So it's 1 hour of your day, especially with billable hours. Nobody wants to use hours if they don't have to. So 1 hour a week, and we can get a book out of their heads and on paper in about 16 sessions.
Wow, that's fantastic. And what a relief for them, because I know my business partner is so articulate when she speaks. She's not a great writer. She doesn't like to write. So, thank goodness for voice notes, because that's pretty much what she lives on. So people have, different strengths and different ways that they can get it out of their head, right?
Absolutely. And because I'm a journalist, I ask questions. I see the book in my head as they're talking.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about your journalism background.
Sure. Well, I started out actually in celebrity PR, but there was a particular comedian who told me off on my birthday twice. And I said, nope, I am done. I cannot do this anymore. I do not want to grow up and be somebody's punching bag. So I got a master's in journalism. And then I worked in radio news for 3 years. And it was hard, but I loved it. And I learned so much. Every single day I was learning, and that is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine. So I feel bad that radio's kind of gone by the wayside, but podcasts are
Podcasts. Yes, podcasts are almost better because when it's general radio, you don't get to pick and choose what you listen to. It's sort of general. It's like CNN or Fox News. You pick, but it's going to tell you lots of different stories. Whereas on podcasts, things are so niche. For example, this one, we're talking about coaching, right? And so people who are interested in being a coach, or maybe they are a coach, or maybe they have a coach, they all want to hear this show because what you're saying is so important. You bring on guests that you know are going to have information that resonates with them. So I'm such a big fan of podcasts.
I love that. I love it. Would you have a favorite podcast?
So I listen to one yes, I guess it would be Gabby Bernstein's podcast. That would be my favorite. I have this problem because I was on the radio. I I get tired of people's voices, but I have not gotten tired of hers.
That's awesome. No, that totally makes sense. So I want you to tell us a little bit about some of your clients, kind of their journey when they came to you, where they were at, and how you helped them finally get that book out. And I know people who are authors, and a lot of them don't think to do the marketing until it's done. And I'm sure that you're coaching them on, no, you can't wait that long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about.
And a lot of what we do is really done for you too, because people are busy and let me help. I like to help. So when somebody comes to me, so I'll give you an example of oh my gosh, they're all my favorite, but one of my favorites. So she came to me and she said, I have dyslexia and I don't think that I could ever write a book if not for your help. And now we're almost, her manuscript is 90% finished. And it's like that kind of thing that just, I mean, thanks to technology, first of all. Like shout out to AI and technology. And but also I think that being in the online space, people realize that there's more available to them. We're not stuck in our little siloed area any longer. And that's how you and I are talking, because we're on opposite ends of the country. But back to client stories. I had a client after he published, he was invited to speak at a paid speaking event, and they bought 300 of his books. And that's the beauty of it. The being on podcasts comes right from it. And that's what we do. Once we're published, we start pitching you to podcasts, to the media. We'll do an Amazon bestseller campaign, which is a nice to have. It is not it's not a marketing plan all in of itself, but yeah, but it's still a nice to have.
Yeah, it's a nice to have, and it gives you some credibility, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to make you a millionaire.
No, in fact, book sales will not make you millions unless your name is J.K. Rowling. And if J.K. Rowling's listening, hi, I'll tell you my email, but or I'll give you my phone number. But but in all seriousness, I make $8 every time somebody buys one of my books on Amazon, and then I get excited because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to Starbucks and treat myself to a coffee for $8 for one coffee. Yes, maybe one whole coffee. At the airport, it would not cover a coffee, but in my regular Starbucks, it might.
So you mentioned AI. I'm curious. I would think that people who are in publishing or writing would be like, no AI, because AI is bad. It's not my words, et cetera, et cetera. So tell me how you kind of utilize it in what you do.
That's such a good question. Okay, so I love technology. I always have. And so, no, you should not be using using AI to write your book. No, do not use AI to write your book. But you can use AI in different ways. So, for example, you have a chapter that you've already written, and you want to take parts of that chapter and create social media captions. That's a great way to use AI. Takes 5 minutes or less, and then you have a month's worth of social media captions, all from stuff you already wrote. Or another way to use it is, how in books we have subtitles of things? Well, I'm really good at writing really boring subtitles, like really bad ones. But AI can make really good subtitles for me. So when I have an idea of what I want the subtitle to be, I say, can you please rewrite this subtitle as though it is for this, by this? And then it'll come up with these really pithy, cute things that my brain just is overloaded and wouldn't have come up with.
Did you say pretend I'm pithy and and funny and come up with
Yes, yes. Sometimes I'll say funny or make it have alliteration. I love alliteration.
Yeah, alliteration's a good one, especially if you want people to remember things.
Totally.
So that's great. So you're using AI more in like the marketing part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, people are like, well, I used AI to do my whole book outline. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's okay. But there's something to be said for the human touch. And So it might be like if we were looking at things in a binary way of yes or no, right or wrong, sure, it's right, but as a person, as a human, I can bring nuance that I don't think AI can.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we always talk about. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool to help you with where you're going or to get you started, but it is not, yeah, it doesn't have feelings, even though it sounds like it does.
It does. I know, and that's a whole other animal of people using AI instead of, I don't know, therapists or friends. Like that's meh, don't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
I'll be your friend.
So you work with your clients kind of from start to finish. Do you also help them with the actual printing and you have resources for them for that?
Oh yeah. So what we do is we once we get it edited and proofread, then we will publish it after, so we have it laid out and we do the book cover and then we will do the publishing itself on the two platforms, which are Amazon, as we all know, and the other one is Ingram Spark. And I don't want to mansplain if you know what that is, but in case any of your listeners don't know what it is the other platform that you want to be published on because that's where Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Target, Walmart, et cetera, libraries, universities, they all pull from that platform. Because Amazon KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, has its own fun and games, and you want to be there, but you also want to be in the other place to be 100% legitimate.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me a little bit about, I know we're getting tactical, but you design the covers. Do you also have designers who do like imagery within the book?
Yeah, if it needs to be done. I mean, I'd say, the books that I work with, maybe a chart, but charts and graphs, but generally speaking, we're not including like photography or what have you, because that also drives up the cost of printing. So all of this, the benefit nowadays, oh my gosh, there are so many benefits to publishing now. There's no barrier to entry. You don't need to wait for somebody in New York in a high rise to tell you that you're allowed to publish a book. And you also don't have to have a bunch of them sitting in your home looking at you going, sell me, because it's print on demand. So in terms of printing, I don't have to get a printer because both Amazon and Ingram Spark offer printing for you.
Print on demand. It's a beautiful thing.
Amen.
The other thing that I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you want to include quotes in your book, do you have to get approval for those?
Quotes, I do not believe so. I've never heard that. Song lyrics is a big old no-no.
Okay. Do you get a lot of song lyrics in your lawyer book?
No, no, but actually, funnily enough, I'm going to be working with with an attorney who is writing a book, and she has some Taylor Swift lyrics in there from her manuscript, and I'm going to have to get those taken out. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, that would
She
have been
came to me
fun.
with an almost finished manuscript, and yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I love me some Taylor Swift, but you can't have her lyrics in your book.
No, no. So tell me, is there anything more about what you do that we haven't covered today? I want to make sure everyone has a really good, well-rounded understanding of who you are and what you do and how you might be able to help them.
Sure, thank you so much. So after you publish, it's like the then what? And a lot of times publishers are like, okay, scoot out of the nest. You're good. Bye. And I'm like, no, stay with me here because we're just getting started. So that's having a plan in place so that you're going on podcasts, that you're getting pitched to the media. That's so important. So that's one of the focuses of our program as well.
I love that. Do you get people in like Barnes and Noble to be like sign their books and things?
Yeah, I mean, I can help people do that. It's literally, you can do it too yourself. Anybody can do it. You go into your local Barnes and Noble and you say, I want to do a book signing, and here is my book. And then if they're like, no, then go get two friends and have them say, we're trying to buy this book. Why don't you have it in store? But they really have a focus on local authors. So it isn't a bad thing.
I love that. That's great advice. So now the people who are listening saying, oh, I've always wanted to write a book or I have a book, I just don't know where to go for help with it. What is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Oh, you can hop on my calendar. It's just meetmelanie.vip.
Meetmelanie.vip. So that's a website that you go to and then they can jump
It's
on
my calendar link. Yeah. Just go, you're right in my calendar.
I love that. We'll put that in the show notes below.
Thank
So I have one more question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, if you could provide one tip to make the world a better place, what would it be?
I want you, the listener, you person, hello. I want you to remember that you are special, you are unique, and even if other people do what you do, they don't do it the same way that you do it. And so the world deserves to hear your story because that's how you are going to make your impact in the world.
I love that. What a great way to end. Thank you so much, Melanie, for joining me today. This has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.